Will the second session of the 95th Annual Conference of the Association of Junior Leagues International please come to order? Joining me at the table from your left to right are Susan Danish, Association Executive Director, Cynthia Foster, Governance Committee Chair, Shuba Limbach, Association Vice President, Elizabeth Tominski, Association Secretary, Parliamentarian Ann Giberson, and Renee Tusi, Association Treasurer. I've also asked Ann Dalton, Chief Officer for Strategic Initiatives, to join us, and she's sitting right here behind me. Yes, to serve as our spotter to ensure that delegates wishing to speak are acknowledged in the appropriate order. It is very difficult for me to see, so I appreciate that help. Is everyone about ready to go? I would like to ask you, when you come to the microphone, to please slow down when you speak, so that everybody can hear everything you're saying. It was difficult yesterday to hear everything, especially, I guess we're only halfway back today with microphones, so maybe it won't be so bad. The chair would like to review for you the orders of the day. The first business in order is the statement on meeting procedures. Then we will update meeting attendance. After that, the next item of business will be the consideration of the proposed bylaw amendment and the Secretary's correcting motion as listed in the call to conference materials. This will be followed by consideration of the 3 advisory resolutions. We will then recognize the outgoing and incoming members of the Association Board of Directors. Any questions? Concerning meeting procedures, the chair would like to remind you that the debate on motions will be 20 minutes inclusive. The clock will be stopped only if a tallied vote is taken. Debate may be extended 5 minutes by a 2/3 vote of the delegate body. Any delegate may propose or second a motion. Delegates seconding a motion need not be recognized. This is consistent with Robert's Rules of Order. Tom and Michelle Gorenstein will be our timers again today. Michelle will time each speaker and will indicate when 3 minutes are up, rising and holding up a blue card. And Michelle is right in the center. Right there. Thank you, Michelle. And Tom will keep track of the total time spent on each item and will indicate when time is up by rising and holding up his red card. Thank you, Tom. The motion to extend the time of debate is in order when the timekeeper, Tom, indicates that time has expired. If you desire to make the motion to extend debate, you must indicate such to a teller and get to the microphone immediately. Throughout today's business, when you are recognized by the chair, please identify yourself by name and league and make sure you speak nice and slowly so that we can hear you. On the screen is a chart identifying the colors of the cards at the microphone. They are orange, introducing a main or a subsidiary motion. Examples are amendments and motions for the previous question. Green, speaking for, red, speaking against, and yellow is a request for information, asking for information on the pending motion. Blue is a priority motion, and examples our point of order and parliamentary inquiry, as detailed in the conference rules for the annual business meeting in the call to conference. Any delegate speaking must display the colored voting delegate card which is inserted into your name badge on the back. Please submit all main motions and amendments in writing. A 4-part form is available from tellers and at the business table in the front of the room. 1 copy each for the chair, the secretary, the parliamentarian, and the person making the motion. Please be advised that you need to press very hard so that it goes through on all 4 copies. Give the top 3 copies of the motion form to the teller, who will deliver them to the chair. Regarding the method of voting, this year we are instituting electronic voting, and since we practiced yesterday at Dialogue, we will have a brief review session in a moment to ensure everyone is prepared for today's business. Whenever we have a vote, the doors to the Assembly Hall will be closed. It's important for you to know that no one may exit or enter during a vote, which includes non-voting delegates. If a voting delegate must leave the room prior to a vote, she must leave her colored voting delegate badge insert and voting device with another delegate from her league. The tellers this morning are members of the Association Governance Committee and the AJLI staff. Will the tellers please stand? Thank you so much for your help today in our work. We are now going to update the meeting attendance by identifying how many junior leagues have registered since Thursday afternoon's opening session of the annual meeting. I call on the Association Secretary, Elizabeth Tominski, to present the updated registration report.
Madam President, at the opening session of the annual meeting on Thursday, May 18th, there were 194 junior leagues present in person or by proxy. Since that time, an additional 33 junior leagues have registered in person or by proxy, making the total registered at this conference to be 227 junior leagues. I move that this updated report on registration be accepted.
Is there a second? Okay. Are you awake? It is moved and seconded to accept the updated registration report. A majority vote is required for the adoption. If there's no objection, the chair proposes to take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. The updated meeting registration is adopted. In terms of proxies, New York state law under which the association is incorporated allows a junior league to give a proxy to anyone to vote on the junior league's behalf as long as certain legal formalities are observed. If your league is holding the proxy for another junior league, you must also have the league's voting delegate badge insert and the electronic voting device. If a junior league gives its proxy to the association, that proxy will be exercised at the annual meeting by the secretary of the association. This year, how many? 9 junior leagues have given their proxies to the association. So AJLI Secretary Elizabeth Tominski will be acting as the representative of the association and voting the proxies on those junior leagues' behalf when votes are taken. Before we consider today's business, we will briefly review how to use our electronic voting device and ensure that everyone is comfortable with the voting process. Each of the voting delegates should have received an electronic voting device. Do you all have one? Okay. If you did not receive, please raise your hand and the teller will bring you one. Ladies, it's very important that from now on, do not jump ahead and vote as soon as the voting slides appear on the screen. You must wait for my instructions to do so. Are we clear about that? Fabulous. You all did a great job with this yesterday, and it looks like every device has been in there, but let's test it. Carrie? I'm sorry. Okay. This is kind of how our motions will go, okay? Will appear later this morning, and it's a very tough question, so think carefully. Are you ready for the question? It's been moved. It's been moved and by the Board of Directors. And therefore, a second is not required to serve wine and chocolate at every meal. You should select 1 on your keypad if you're in favor of this motion, and 2 if you are opposed. Are you ready? Please vote now. No, she said we're not doing the other test.
We're good. And just tell me the numbers on. Okay, let's show the. Okay.
Are all the votes in?
They are. So I have to add them up. No, you're okay. It's just the test. We got the
The
total.
chair calls on Malia Fallen, teller chair, to read the results. Malia?
Madam Chair, please let the record show that there were 225 votes cast. There were 209 votes in the affirmative and 16 votes in the negative.
There being a majority of the votes cast in the affirmative, the motion is adopted. Remember that this was only a test and is not binding on the hotel chef. But I'll see what we can do to make you all happy. Are there any questions before we move forward with today's business? Thank you very much, and we're now ready to begin. Since this is the first business meeting where we'll be using these devices, and we all know that technology isn't perfect, I'm going to ask our Secretary, Elizabeth Tomensky, to propose a motion to keep our business moving forward today. Elizabeth?
Thank you, Madam President. On behalf of the AJLI Board of Directors, I move that voting by keypad shall be considered to be the equivalent of a counted vote.
A motion has been made by the AJLI Board, and therefore we do not need a second. That voting by a keypad shall be considered to be the equivalent of a counted vote. If this motion is adopted, it means that the motion for division of the assembly would not be in order. This requires a majority of votes cast for adoption. If there are no objections, we will do a voice vote. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The motion carries. The first business in order is the consideration of any bylaw amendments. First is motion 1, to eliminate the international director position from the AJLI Board of Directors. The motion begins on page 18 of your call to conference packet. Let me give you a minute to access that page so you have it and have the motion in front of you. Are you ready? Okay. The chair now recognizes Elizabeth Tomensky.
Thank you, Madam President. Motion 1 proposes the elimination of the International Director position from the AJLI Board of Directors. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I move the adoption of motion number 1 as printed and distributed.
The motion is to adopt motion 1 as printed and distributed. If there's no objection, I will not read the motion. Hearing none, the motion is made on behalf of the Board of Directors and does not require a second. The chair now recognizes Cynthia Foster, the board member designated to speak in support of this motion.
Thank you, Madam President. As we discussed yesterday during governance dialogue, the AJLI Board is proposing to eliminate the designated position on the Board of Directors that must be filled by a member from a league outside of the United States. As stated in the operational policies approved by the junior leagues, the Governance Committee is charged with matching the organizational needs and individual strengths to produce a leadership team that shall most effectively forward the association's missions, goals, and strategic plan, and to ensure through the slating process that the following are reflected in the composition of the Board of Directors and the Governance Committee: the geographic breadth of the association, representatives from each of the 4 size groups of junior leagues, sustaining members, active members, and that the composition of the Board of Directors and the Association Governance Committee is diverse and inclusive. Over the years, nonprofit governance best practices has moved away from designating positions on board for specific demographics such as age, race, and geographic designation. Most nonprofits have instead adopted diversity and inclusion statements that guide all of our work, including their nominating process. In 2012, the association made a move in this direction by eliminating designated positions for each of the 6 area directors from the board. And in 2015, the leagues adopted our association's commitment to diversity and inclusion statement. This proposed change would remove the last of the designated positions on the board and bring us closer to today's best governance practices. Your Board of Directors, Governance Committee, and association staff are all committed to moving our association forward and strengthening our global perspective. With open communication and continued support from league leaders both outside and inside of the United States, we will continue to ensure that the global voice is not lost, but rather strengthened in the work of the AJLI Board and the association as a whole. For these reasons, the Board of Directors is proposing the bylaw amendment to eliminate the international director position from the board.
Discussion is now in order for this motion. Is there any discussion? Chair recognizes microphone 5, speaking for. Thanks, Ann.
My name is Hannah Barrington. I'm from the Junior League of Edmonton, Alberta. I'd like to invite the members of the leagues from Canada, Mexico, and the UK to stand with me, please. Madam Chair, members of the board, and fellow AJLI members, buenos dias, bonjour, hello. After much consultation and discussion with the AJLI board, the Leagues of Canada, Mexico, and the United Kingdom are voting in favor of this motion. We do so after establishing the Global Perspectives Group. This inclusive group will ensure that perspectives from multiple countries are represented to each other and to the association. Our expectation is that Global Perspectives will have a clear and direct line of communication to and from the board now and years into the future. We support the board's vision and commitment to AJLI's international perspective. We are prepared to serve as stewards of the way forward into global membership. As a small but mighty faction of this organization, our recent contributions to the larger association include the Little Black Dress and Kids in the Kitchen initiatives. We ask for all members to stand with us in solidarity as members of a powerful worldwide movement, to make every effort to adopt an international lens in your activities and approach. We ask that members of all leagues and the board recognize that although we have much in common as junior leagues, we have cultural, legal, and historical distinctions which make each country unique, with unique demographics and needs. Please embrace our differences and do not lose sight of the fact that our association is currently comprised of leagues in 4 countries, and our growth and expansion within these countries and beyond depends on our ability to honor and respect those differences and a global perspective. We are proud to work with our American sisters towards our shared goal of empowering women through community service and civic leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. More discussion? See. Are you ready for the question? The vote will be on motion 1 to eliminate the international director position from the board with the proviso as shown on the screen. And it was printed and distributed in the call to conference. Amendments to the association's bylaws require the approval of 2/3 of the junior leagues. The doors to the assembly will now be closed during the vote. Door monitors, please close the doors. As previously agreed, we will conduct an electronic vote. Voting delegates, please get your keypads ready while the display on the first voting slide on the screen. Are you ready? Please vote now.
We'll do the math. $223 total. $223 total.
Got it.
17 and 6.
Malia, will you read the final tally out loud to be captured in the minutes? And then I will speak the results.
Madam Chair, please let the record show that there were 223 votes cast, there were 217 votes in the affirmative, and 6 votes in the negative.
There being at least 2/3 in the major, 2/3 in the favor of the votes cast in the affirmative, the motion is adopted. The next item of business is consideration of the motion number 2, a correcting motion.
On behalf of the Board of Directors, I move that the Association Secretary, that's me, be authorized to make such editorial corrections as are required to implement the intent of the amendment just adopted.
The motion is made on behalf of the Board of Directors and does not need a second. The purpose of the motion is to permit the AJLI Secretary to make non-substantive corrections to the bylaws and operational policies approved by the junior leagues, if needed, to reflect the intent of the amendments adopted at the annual meeting. Is there discussion on this motion? Hearing none, the vote will be on motion number 2 as stated. An affirmative vote of the majority of votes cast is required for adoptions. The doors to the assembly will be closed during the vote. Door monitors, please close the doors. Again, we will vote electronically. Voting delegates, please get your keypads ready as we bring up the voting slide number 2. When the number 1 on your keypad, if you are in favor of this motion, or press number 2 if you are opposed to the motion. Is everyone ready? Please vote now. Are all the votes in? I now call on Teller Chair Malaya Fallen to read the results.
Madam Chair, please let the record show that there were 224 votes cast, 224 votes in the affirmative, and 0 votes in the negative.
There being a majority of the votes cast in the affirmative, the motion is adopted. Thank you, Malia. And thank you all for sharing your thoughts and engaging with your sister leagues today. It's not always easy to stand up in front of hundreds of people and speak, scripted or not. I know that all of your fellow league leaders appreciate all the comments that are going to be made here in the room. And now that we have you all warmed up, let's continue with the next order of business. We will now be considering advisory resolutions. On each table is a list of the advisory resolutions that have been submitted by the junior leagues. Do you have this in front of you? Okay. As a reminder, advisory resolutions are just that, advisory in nature. The association board may choose to act on them or not. Advisory resolutions passed by the junior leagues will be reviewed by the board at the next regularly scheduled in-person meeting of the board following the annual meeting, which is in June. And the board will then send a letter within 5 days of the adjournment of the board meeting to the junior leagues, indicating whether action will or will not be taken, with an explanation for its decision. The first item for consideration is the advisory resolution proposed by the Junior League of Boston. The chair recognizes the delegate from the Junior League of Boston.
Hi, everyone. I'm Pamela Lynch, president of Junior League of Boston. So this resolution would be to create a policy that all leagues shall not endorse or oppose specific candidates and shall not fund campaigns with league dollars. Currently in the U.S., the Johnson Amendment prohibits nonprofits from campaigning or electioneering or taking part in these type of political activities, and the current administration is taking action toward weakening the Johnson Amendment. And we believe as a global organization that we should continue issue-based education and advocacy in a nonpartisan way.
You need to move the adoption of your resolution.
Thank you. I move the board create a policy that all leagues shall not endorse or impose specific candidates and shall not fund campaigns with league dollars. Whereas the brand of the Junior League is valued, respected, and credible avenue to open doors in all sectors of the world. And whereas the Junior League participates in education and advocacy and has maintained a professional and nonpartisan voice in a variety of issues across the world. And whereas the Junior League is a collection of diverse and thoughtful women who are advocates for change. And whereas the experts in the field, including Board Source, Nonprofit Quarterly, the National Council of Nonprofits, Inside Philanthropy, and many others have all condemned the act of repealing the Johnson Amendment. Therefore, be it that resolved that the AJLI Board create a policy within the next 12 months that asks any league to voluntarily submit themselves to the rules, spirit, and obligations of the Johnson Amendment, and that even if repealed, junior leagues shall not endorse specific candidates and shall not fund campaigns with league dollars, and shall not take part in shall not take a partisan stance for candidates. And be it further resolved that all leagues voluntarily commit to upholding the tradition of longstanding, nonpartisan, issue-based education and advocacy.
Is there a second? And I'm sorry, Pam, you didn't need, you can move on behalf of your motion as printed, so the next people, I didn't make that clear, but I love that you read it. Thank you. The question is the advisory resolution proposed by the Junior League of Boston and is now open for discussion. Please go to the closest mic to respond to this resolution. The chair recognizes the delegate at microphone 4 with a request for information.
Hello, Kimberly White out of London, and coming with the global perspective, I have a question on whether dollars means USD, Canadian, pound, and so are we talking specifically about campaigning for just in the United States? We have, as you might imagine, Americans all over the world that are at different leagues, and so campaigning, do we want to have the spirit be outside of the United States, you know, if there was protesting or something like that. So I think it just maybe could be a bit more inclusive, maybe change the name from dollars to monies, and talk about whether or not this has to do with just the U.S. in terms of spending monies. So
Actually, it's a debate, so do you have a question?
oh, so it has to be a question.
Can you state it in a question?
Yeah, is the advisory resolution specific to U.S. dollars? Is that okay? Okay.
The answer is?
I meant it to be inclusive of all monies.
Okay.
So we can amend appropriately if people feel
Okay.
so.
You should move to amend then.
I move to amend the advisory resolution from dollars to funds. Thank you.
Is there a second? Okay. Takes. Yes. The question is on amending from dollars to funds. Okay? Is there any debate on the amendment? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment? Say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. It was a simple amendment. We didn't need to do the electronic. Okay. So now the question is on the resolution as amended, recognizing delegate at microphone 1, and that is orange.
Okay. Hi.
Introduction of a main or subsidiary motion.
Yes, Janet Peavy from the Junior League of San Antonio. I move to remove the word brand from the first sentence as it unnecessarily limits the intent of the motion.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? No. It's moved and seconded to amend the motion that the word brand from the first sentence as unnecessary and to remove the word brand. Is that clear with everybody? Is there any debate on the amendment? On the amendment? No. On the amendment? Recognizing microphone 2, speaking in favor.
Maria Hewitt, the Junior League of New Orleans. I would suggest an appropriate change to be to reputation. I support the member from the Junior League of San Antonio in this change.
Amendment, okay. Speaking at microphone 4.
Deanna Anderson from Atlanta. I have a question around the word campaigns because I think we need to be more specific. For us in Atlanta and Georgia, we just were very successful in helping with the Safe Harbor Yes.
I'm sorry, I have to stop
question.
you. It's
Sorry.
out of order. Okay.
Question. So
we have to vote
what
on,
do you mean as far as
we have to vote on the amendment. On the amendment. Upon the word striking brand. Now, everybody clear? Okay, we're voting on the amendment. Is there any further discussion on the amendment to strike the word brand? Should be brand and. Okay, we're striking 2 words. Okay. Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. The ayes have it, the amendment carries. And brand and are struck from the motion. Now, we're back to the original motion as amended, and we'll call for discussion. There's no white. I don't know. We got to ask her for what purpose she rises. What purpose do you want to speak? Question. Okay, that should be yellow. So we just need to make sure it's a question, doing this the right way. Okay. Recognizing the delegate. Oh, time's up.
We can ask for more time.
Tom? I don't know about you. What?
Want him to extend? You could say, is there any objection to extending?
Is there any objection to extending the debate for 5 minutes?
Okay, there's no objection.
No, no, that's orange. No. Was there an objection to extending for 5 minutes? Okay. We will. What? Since there's no objection, we will extend for 5 minutes. Oh, God. Okay. It's very important that we do this right. So hang in there with me. Recognizing the delegate at microphone 4 with a request for information.
Is the intent for it to be partisan campaigns or all campaigns, such as a political or such as a constitutional amendment campaign?
It's meant to be taking a partisan stance, so campaigns related to candidates for political office.
Okay.
We
Yes.
can amend that to be more clear. No.
You need to wait.
Okay.
You need to wait. Yes, I need to recognize microphone 1 with a request for information.
Hi, this is Lori with the Junior League of Sacramento, and my question has to do with the term voluntary, and if you could give me some background as to the addition of the word voluntary into this suggestion for a policy.
Answer the question.
I guess the thought with the word voluntary is that there are policies out there that are not always enforced, so that the spirit would be we would voluntarily all agree to this. In addition, there would be a policy. So it is a policy, but I'm also asking leagues voluntarily follow it.
Can you voluntarily follow a policy?
Kind of a follow-up to that?
No follow-up questions. Recognizing the delegate at microphone 4 with an introduction of a main or subsidiary motion.
I would like to make a motion that we.
Do you have it in writing?
No.
Got to do that first.
Okay.
And we're down to like 3 minutes, so write fast. You got it. Yes, recognizing delegate at microphone 1 with an introduction to a main or subsidiary motion. Do you have it in writing?
Yes.
Get with it.
It's there.
You may speak.
Hi, I'm Linda Fakuri from Junior League of Poughkeepsie, New York. I move that the word voluntary be removed. If we as a league are going to do something as a league and as AJLI, I think we should all stand together and remove it as voluntary so everybody is on the same page.
No. Okay. Yes. The motion is to strike voluntary from the motion. It's actually voluntarily on the motion, but she says it's okay. Is there a second? Is there any debate or discussion on this amendment? Seeing none, all in favor of striking the word voluntarily from the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The word voluntarily will be struck from the motion. We are back to the original motion as amended. Is there any further debate? Recognizing the delegate at microphone 4 speaking for.
Good morning. So I just want to speak in favor of
Please
this.
identify yourself.
Michelle Studi Campbell, Indianapolis. The advisory resolution. We live in a turbulent political times right now, and I think this is good practice, even if the Johnson Amendment is repealed. Do I have to stop now?
The time is called. No. Finish your sentence. Sorry, Tom.
I'm sure it was awesome. So even if the Johnson Amendment is repealed at the federal level, sticking to the spirit and the tenor of that rule and keeping our political stock intact and not aligning ourselves with certain candidates or any candidates without being fair and balanced helps us move issues forward and not get caught up in the chaos of partisan politics. So I say progress, not partisanship, and vote yay for this resolution.
Okay. Now the question has been called. It's time to take, no? Okay, the question is on, and we're going to vote now. Okay. That's okay. Okay. The question is on the motion as amended. Get your pads out. Yes, the time is up unless someone moved to a microphone to extend and no one did. So the motion is on the floor to vote, right? All those in favor? No? Yes. Yes. You have your keypad? Okay.
I'm by 5 minutes.
The motion is to extend time by 5 minutes. Is there a second? Okay, this requires a 2/3 vote, so you will need to use your keypad. All those in favor of extending time on this motion, press 1 for in favor and press 2 if you're opposed. Are you ready? Do you know what you're voting on? We're voting on extending the debate on this motion. Carrie, are you ready? Not yet. Don't vote. There we go.
We're ready.
Okay. Vote now. I'll get better as we go along. Yeah. Somebody will need to figure out. Has everyone voted? Okay. This, Malia, will you report the votes, please?
How many total, though?
No, it didn't.
I got it.
It has to be 2/3.
Madam Chair, there were 220 votes cast, 73 were in favor, 147 were opposed.
There are less than 2/3. Time will not be extended. We will now call the question on the original motion as amended. Please prepare to vote. Carrie, you let me know when you're ready. Yes. You'll do the same. On this motion, you will press 1 if you're in favor and 2 if you're opposed when they are ready. The advisory resolution number 1 as amended. Please press 1 in favor, press 2 if opposed. Carrie, are you ready?
Ready.
Please vote now. Okay.
And this requires...
you vote on the last one? This just requires a majority. Malia, will you read the results? She has to announce the votes. Malia.
Madam Chair, in regards to advisory resolution number 1 on the topic of junior leagues not endorsing specific candidates, there were 223 total votes, 215 in the affirmative, 8 in the negative.
This requires a majority of votes cast in the affirmative. The motion carries. Congratulations, lady. You did real well. Okay. Isn't this fun? Huh? You can go home to your leagues and practice. But you cannot take Ann here, okay? So good luck. Next on the agenda is the advisory resolution. The chair calls on the Junior League of Minneapolis. Please state your motion, and then you may speak.
I move that this advisory resolution would advise the AJLI Board of Directors to present a unified voice and promote increased relevance at the Junior League.
You don't have to read the whole motion. You can move as presented.
Yes,
This.
with only one per table.
Oh, is that all you have?
Correct.
Oh.
May I ask for just a raise of hands if you would like me to read it? Okay. Then I will just move. Okay.
Wait.
Oh. There's only one per table.
Then you need to read it.
Okay. Here we go. Settle in, ladies. I'm going to go fast. Okay, so I move that the advisory resolution would advise the AJLI Board of Directors to present a unified voice and promote increased relevance of the Junior League as an organization that preserves women's right in local, national, and global discussions and empowers women around the world, as well as making the world a better place for women. Whereas the Junior League mission states that we develop the potential of women, and our vision calls for women around the world as catalysts for lasting community change. And whereas the Junior League has a legacy of change makers and has been a voice throughout history in issues of women's suffrage, domestic violence, human trafficking, and countless others. And whereas the promotion of women's empowerment is an issue-based community impact area on which all leagues premise their work. And whereas it is the duty of the association and of each league to train its members to bring issues of concern and advocacy to the consciousness of those members. And whereas we are committed to embracing a variety of perspectives and protecting the diversity through among our members. And whereas the resolution would help to strengthen the Junior League brand and keeping in with the brand marketing of the Junior League Advisory Resolution adopted in 2015 annual conference. And whereas the theme of the 2017 annual conference is Disrupt Convention. Therefore, be it resolved that the president of the AJLI Board of Directors shall establish, after the conclusion of the 2017 annual conference, a task force of board members with no fewer than 10 members from junior leagues representing geographical diversity and diverse backgrounds, including leagues with SPACs and at least one international league. And be it further resolved that the task force will identify issues on which AJLI can take a nonpartisan but meaningful stance. The task force will develop develop a strategy, identify partners, establish our voice, and identify how we will speak as an organization and develop resources for individual leagues. And further be it resolved that the task force will share with the leagues their findings at the 2017 Fall Leadership Conference, the 2018 Winter Leadership Conference, and be it further resolved that the task force will present a course of action presented at the 2018 Annual Conference, respectfully submitted by the Junior Leagues of Minneapolis, Seattle, and Philadelphia, supported by the Junior Leagues of Bakersfield, California, Los Angeles, San Diego, Boston, Edmonton, Alberta, Orange County, California, Phoenix, Long Beach, Dayton, Ohio, Cleveland, Richmond, Santa Barbara, Tampa, and Kalamazoo.
Would you like to speak to your motion?
I feel that we need to be one of the first organizations that is asked to participate in nonpartisan women's issues. And I feel that we have lost our way because of being scared to act. And we used to be those people. We used to be the first ones at the table. As shown in that video, we have done this in the past, and it's time for us to do it now.
The question is the advisory resolution proposed by the Junior Leagues of Minneapolis, Seattle, and Philadelphia, and it's now open for discussion. Please go to the closest mic to respond to this resolution. Can you see, is it blue? Yes. Okay. The chair recognizes the delegate at microphone 3 with a priority motion.
This is a point of parliamentary inquiry.
Okay.
I have Elizabeth Farr, Junior League of Philadelphia, and a co-sponsor of this advisory resolution. After our conversation about the previous advisory resolution, I have a question about whether the changes to verbiage are actually important in an advisory resolution and whether the delegate should be spending time discussing such changes when really this is a request to the AJLI board to take action on something. It's not a policy we're adopting, it's not a bylaw, it's not something that's going to become printed.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I will tell you that it is not required. It is an advisory resolution to the board, but it is in order if people feel they need to do that. Recognizing the delegate at microphone 2 with introduction of a main or subsidiary motion.
Is that me? Subsidiary.
Name and league, please.
Hi, my name is Sarah Gantz, and I am from the Junior League of Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
You need to speak up, please.
I'm sorry, it was buzzing. My name is Sarah Gantz. I'm from the Junior League of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I move to amend the seat at the table resolution to strike the words in paragraph 9 after the word backgrounds and before the and be it further, and to change the comma after backgrounds to a period.
For clarification, that would mean that you are moving to strike, including leagues with SPACs and at least one international league?
My microphone's not on. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We have a motion to amend the advisory resolution. Is there a second? There is a second. All those in favor of amend? No. Oh, I'm sorry. You got to talk. Is there discussion on the amendment to strike?
Right, do I get to? No.
She can't speak to it again. Would you like to speak to your amendment?
Yes, yes. It seemed to be consistent with.
We really can't hear you.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm shouting. It seemed to be consistent with what this delegation has already voted on in terms of removing the international director position. We clearly, as an association, feel that we are internationally represented no matter where someone resides or in what league that they're in. And as long as this task force is looked at as being diverse, there shouldn't be specific requirements of being part of an international league or a league that has a SPAC.
Other discussion? Microphone 2, I recognize the delegate in microphone 2.
Andrea Brado from Minneapolis. We included that, while I recognize your point of view, we did include that to make sure that the organizations that already do this at a large level, that have SPACs such as California and New Jersey, are represented, because their voice, I think, will assist in this advisory resolution and the information that is gathered.
Speaking again, recognizing, I'm sorry? Okay, recognizing Delegate 5, speaking against, or Delegate at microphone 5.
I know what you mean. I'm Candace Caldwell from Junior League of Seattle, and I would also like to clarify the meaning of having specifics of who makes up a task force is important when for the board to decide who represents the rest of us. And so we did feel that having some leagues with SPACs is very important because they're doing work, and especially out of one of the questions that came up from the service dialogue around uniting SPACs. So we didn't feel like every single representative on that task force needs to be from a SPAC league, but it is important, and we do want the international representation as well.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, we will move the question on the amendment to the motion that we strike, including leagues with SPAC and at least one international league. We will do this one on keypad this time. Oh, time. Okay. We want to do this by keypad. We're voting on the amendment to the motion. Are you ready? Carrie, are you ready? Okay. In favor of the amendment, press 1. If you're opposed to the amendment, press 2. Vote now, please. Malia, will you read the vote?
Madam Chair, there were 222 votes cast, 61 in favor, 161 opposed.
There's not a majority in favor, and the amendment is lost. We will go back now to the original motion. Is there any further discussion? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Tom. Okay. We have to vote on the original motion. unless someone votes to extend time.
Roberts, Junior League of Birmingham. I move to extend time 5 minutes.
The motion is to extend time, takes a 2/3 vote. Carrie, are you ready? We don't discuss on extension of time. We have to wait for the table. When she votes in a priority motion like that, she doesn't need to write it. It's only on amendments, yeah. All in favor of extending time, press 1. All those opposed, press 2. Please vote now. Malia, will you read the votes?
Madam Chair, there were 223 votes cast, 108 in favor, 115 opposed.
It is less than 2/3. We will not extend time, and the motion now is to vote on the amendment, or the motion as amended. Oh, it wasn't amended. It's a good thing. Okay. The question is to vote on the original motion. Are you ready? Carrie, are you ready? Okay. Please press 1 if you're in favor of the motion. Please press 2 if you are opposed. Please vote now. This one did not pass. Malia, will you read the votes?
Madam Chair, in regards to advisory resolution number 2 on the topic, a seat at the table, women's empowerment and gender equity as junior league principals, there were 224 votes cast, 189 in favor, 35 opposed.
This requires a majority of votes cast for adoption, and the motion passes. Next on the agenda is the advisory resolution, and I call to the microphone the delegate from Monmouth County, New Jersey. Please state your name and your motion, and then you may speak. You'll have to read it.
Okay. Hi, I'm Karen Saad from the Junior League of Monmouth County.
You need to speak
Louder?
into the mic and speak to me.
Hi, I'm Karen Saad from the Junior League of Monmouth County. Should I read the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's not out there.
And my advisory resolution would advise the AJLI board to address the problem of systemic racial and gender discrimination. This discrimination results in many of the issues that our leagues currently address, such as food insecurity, medical care, juvenile crime, childhood obesity, and homelessness. AJLI should take a lead role in analyzing the root causes of discrimination and developing strategies to address them. The impact of implementing these strategies on the local and association-wide levels will create change at the source of the problems that we address today and result in lasting, meaningful improvement on the local, national, and global levels. Whereas our vision calls for women around the world as catalysts for lasting community change, and whereas for more than a century, the Junior League has been on the forefront of social reform, identifying problems and finding solutions. And whereas in 2005, AJLI issued its diversity and inclusion statement, cementing its commitment to creative, inclusive environments of diverse individuals, organizations, and communities. And whereas AJLI provides continuity and support, guidance, and leadership development opportunities to its member leagues, and whereas the theme of the 2017 annual conference is Disrupt Convention, therefore be it resolved that the President of the AJLI Board of Directors shall establish a task force of board members, community leaders involved in fighting against racial and gender discrimination, and representatives from a diverse group of leagues after the conclusion of the 2017 annual conference, and be it further resolved that the task force will work to identify the issues causing systemic racial and gender discrimination and develop strategies that can be used by individual leagues and by AJLI to combat these issues, and be it further resolved that the task force will share with leagues their findings at the 2017 Fall Leadership Conference or 2018 Winter Leadership Conference, and be it further resolved that the task force will present a course of action presented at the 2018 conference. Respectfully submitted, the Junior League of Monmouth County, New Jersey, supported by the Junior League of Boston. Thank you.
The question is on the resolution. You may speak to it now.
Thank you. I have to pull up my thing. This weekend, we celebrate our leadership skills, our service to the community, our accomplishments in creating positive change, and we have a lot to celebrate. However, our power for change is enormous, and we should make an enormous change. Junior leagues have banded together in the past to support league-wide service projects, including the Don't Wait to Vaccinate campaign started in 1991, and more recently, the Kids in the Kitchen campaign. This weekend, we heard from two speakers talking about the need for significant change. Our Mary Harriman Award winner, Suzette Plisak, talked about racial discrimination and the impact that it has on people and communities. Mark Muriel spoke about the issues in our political system and the need for civic education. Many of our programs that our leagues support are Band-Aids for the issues created by these much deeper root causes. Kevin Ryan, the CEO of Covenant House, a nationwide charity for homeless youth, spoke to my league about the value of the work that we are doing with empowering young girls. He commended us for addressing the problem upstream because his program addresses the problems downstream, and said, it is much better to get these kids out of the water early. However, what if people never got in the water? Let's disrupt an educational system that was created by and continues to focus primarily on a male-dominated Eurocentric curriculum, which does not showcase the achievements of people of color or women. Let's disrupt a media that fails to accurately portray diversity and that portrays women as sexual objects. Let's disrupt a corporate America and government that is completely unrepresentative of the population that it culls from. Fortune magazine puts the number of female Fortune 500 CEOs at 4.2%, less than in the past and certainly less than the 50% of women who are matriculating in our colleges and universities today. There are so many ways that we can approach this issue of racial and gender discrimination. We, as the Junior League United, have the ability to disrupt.
Motion needs a second. I would like to call attention that we are beyond time, and if there's no objection, not on this motion, on the scheduled time for this to end, please, if there's no objection, we will extend to hear this motion and also recognize the rest of the agenda. Hearing none, we will go forward. Okay, now, recognizing the delegate at microphone 6 speaking against.
This is Alicia Love, Junior League of Cleveland, and although I think the spirit of this idea is good, there are organizations, institutes, university programs working to get under whys of systemic racial inequity, and that the Junior League, AJLI, the Junior Leagues do not have the expertise or manpower to really try and determine root causes of systemic racism, especially between now and fall conference. So I just feel like It is outside our purview and expertise to figure out what is causing racial inequity.
The microphone, one, speaking against.
I'm Jennifer Bennett. I'm with the Junior League of Kansas City, Missouri, and
You need to direct your, you got to speak to me.
you. Yes, yes. That's wonderful. And I agree with the comments that were just stated, but I'd like to add in addition that there is more to diversity and inclusion than race and gender, and that's where I feel a lot of this is lacking, is from an age, disability, and education aspect, along with multiple others.
The chair recognizes the delegate at microphone 4 with a request for information.
Lauren Roberts, Junior League of Birmingham. My question is, in this last paragraph, it says that a course of action will be presented at the 2018 annual conference. Will we be afforded an opportunity to vote upon that course of action, whether we pursue it or not?
Keep in mind, this is an advisory resolution, and the board would probably let you know what we do with the deadlines. It doesn't, the advisory resolution can be altered, can be done, we can choose not to, we can choose to do with it, and the advisory resolution would go to the board, and the board would then determine all of that.
So the board would decide what to pursue, not the membership?
No,
Not the
no,
leagues?
no,
The leagues
no.
would not vote?
No. The board would decide what to do with the advisory resolution. It would not necessarily be adopted exactly as is.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion? The question is on the floor for advisory resolution number 3. No further discussion? If you are in favor, press 1 in favor, and if you are opposed, press 2 for opposed. Are you ready, Carrie?
Ready.
Please vote now.
Can you just write that in for me?
Malia, please read the results of the vote.
Madam Chair, in regards to advisory resolution number 3, on the topic of systemic racial and gender discrimination, there were 221 votes cast, 57 affirmative, and 164 in the negative.
There is not a majority of the votes in favor, and the motion is defeated. Give yourself a round of applause. That was great. It's now time to recognize outgoing and welcome incoming members of the AJLI Board of Directors. I invite the current and incoming members of the AJLI Board of Directors to take their seats on the dais. As per the bylaw changes made at the 2006 annual conference, the incoming officers and directors do not take office until June 1. Therefore, what we are going to do now is welcome them and thank those whose terms will end in May 31st. The chair calls on Cynthia Foster, Association Governance Committee Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the past several years, the following board members have dedicated themselves to serving the junior leagues as at-large directors, helping to shape the future of the association. Please rise as I call your name and remain standing until all outgoing members have been presented. Thank you to the Junior League of Des Moines for Deanne Cook. Thank you to the Junior League of St. Paul for Sylvia Strobel. Thank you to the Junior League of Yakima for Darcy Swanson. And thank you to the Junior League of Brooklyn for Ann Townsend.
Okay, here we go. Please join me in thanking these outgoing members of the Board of Directors for their contributions to the association. Again? No? Okay. Now, it's my distinct pleasure to thank the Junior League of San Francisco for the wonderful leadership of Cynthia Foster.
Thank you, Carol. Please join me in thanking these outgoing members. And since you're still standing, you may now be seated. It is with great pride that I welcome the incoming at-large directors of the Board of Directors. Would each please rise when her name is called and remain standing till all have been introduced. Please hold your applause until all names have been read. Deborah Rabe San Ramon from the Junior League of Mexico City. Darcy Swanson from the Junior League of Yakima, who will be returning for a second consecutive term on the board. And Michelle Vaith from the Junior League of Cincinnati. These women will each serve a 3-year term as at-large directors. Next, I'd like to introduce Malia Fallon from the Junior League of Minneapolis. Malia has been duly elected as Governance Committee Vice Chair. In accordance with the AJLI bylaws, she will serve 1 year as Vice Chair and then will automatically succeed to a 1-year term as Governance Committee Chair. Let me also once again congratulate Bet Williams from the Junior League of Columbia, who will serve as the Governance Committee Chair for 2017-18, having served as Vice Chair in 2016-2017. Please join me in welcoming these incoming Board of Directors. And now we will recognize the outgoing and incoming members of the Executive Committee. Please stand when I call your name. Thank you, Junior League of San Francisco, for Renee Tusi. Renee is our outgoing association treasurer, and she has also been elected to serve a second consecutive term in this position. And I welcome the incoming president-elect, Laurel Lee Alexander, from the Junior League of Monterey County. Laurel will serve a 1-year term as president-elect and will automatically succeed to a 2-year term as president of the Association of Junior Leagues International. Please join me in acknowledging these outstanding executive committee members. Madam Chair, that concludes the Governance Committee's recognition of the outgoing and incoming AJLI board members.
Thank you, Cynthia. And that concludes the second session. That concludes the second session of the annual meeting. And now that we're officially out of the meeting, we're going to go and enjoy our wonderful, robust afternoons, whether it be an excursion that you have planned, a simple free rest, or a nap. I truly appreciate all of your wonderful conversation, debate, and participation today. And I will look forward to seeing you at this evening's celebration, reception, and dinner. Have a good afternoon, ladies.